Out beneath me was the whole hoop of the world. And while I stood here, I saw more than I can tell, and I understood more than I saw. For I was seeing in a sacred manner the shapes of all things in the Spirit, and the shape of all shapes as they must live together like one being. And I saw that the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that made one circle, wide as daylight and as starlight. And in the center grew one mighty flowering tree to shelter all the children of one mother and one father. And I saw that it was holy. Now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Jane Shriver to light our chalice this morning. Our chalice lighting words come from the Reverend Dr. Kristen Harper from her book, The Darkness Divine, A Loving Challenge to My Faith. The 23rd Psalm revisited. Love is my shepherd, I shall not want. Love embraces all of me in her green pastures. Love cradles me in her still waters. Love restores my soul. Love compels me toward justice for the world's sake. Even though I walk through life with death ever before me, I fear it not, for I walk not alone. Love is with me. Her deep roots and dark wings, they comfort me. Love brings me to the table in the presence of those with whom I am at discord. Her rich brown hands bless me with the oil of compassion. My heart overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the arms of love my whole life long.
The words of our call to worship. This is a place to dream. This is a place to be reminded of our highest aspirations. Out there is anxiety and fear, people being mean to each other. May this be a place of refuge and sanctuary, where we remind ourselves of the best we can be. As the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman wrote, "In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of the holy, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in good times or in tempests, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve." May this hour together nourish in us our moments of high resolve, that we may be strengthened in that to which our lives are committed. Let us worship together.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing together hymn number 100, "I've Got Peace Like a River," found in the Gray Hymnal.
I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Peace like a river.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
Please be seated.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community. It's our custom to have sharing of joys and sorrows in our service, which we'll do as we usually do in just a few minutes. But given the emotions of the week, I thought we should have some time for naming our emotions. That reminds me that I want the iPad. So I'm just going to invite you to think about emotions either that you're feeling this morning or that you felt this past week. And we're going to bring those into the room, popcorn style. I'm going to repeat what you say so we can hear your feeling words. So it can be hard sometimes for you to access our feeling words. We're good about our thoughts and our ideas. So I'm inviting you to think about the emotions, and invite our folks online as well. If you want to put feeling words into the chat, I'll repeat those as well. So when someone is ready to speak into the room. Despair. Shock. Slow down. Betrayal. Fear. Surprise. Terror. Confusion. Frustration. What was that last one? Dread. Disappointment. Disheartening. Worried. Hopeless. Dismay. Frightened. Refocused. Panic. Disgust. Sadness. Determination. Devastation. Shattered. Shock. Frustration and disappointment. Amazement. Fear. Mobilization. Some hope. anger, disbelief. There was someone farther back. Analytical. Determination. Numbness. Feeling lost. Denial. Fatigue. Loss. Rage. Grief. Appreciation for our pets, dogs, and cats. Oh, and appreciation for sea otters. Disorientation. Claustrophobia. Feeling trapped. Sorrow. Fear. Worry. I'm grateful to you for naming and sharing some of what you've been feeling. And I invite you to notice, if you're like me, that, what I felt Wednesday is different from what I felt Thursday and then Friday. And what I feel today is probably different than I'm going to feel tomorrow. So just to stay in touch with those emotions, I appreciate the naming of numbness, because I know that's where I went first and felt fine. I don't feel anything. So just to stay in touch and, pay attention to your body. Someone named tiredness. These strong emotions impact us physically. And so if you feel that you're more tired than usual, that you're not up for some of the things in your regular schedule, just as if you were grieving the loss of a loved one, pay attention to those feelings and honor them. And we'll have much more time to think and reflect and share on our feelings in today and in weeks to come.
Now we'll continue with our regular practice of sharing joys and sorrows by writing your joy or sorrow onto a candle card, which will be collected from you. Online, please write your joy or sorrow, including your name, into the chat box. These joys and sorrows will be spoken out loud, and then we will remove this part of the service from the recording that goes onto our YouTube channel. If you would like to send Reverend Sharon a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, or to make a prayer request, please email her. Her email address will be on the screen in a moment. Please enjoy some music while you write down what you would like to share, so that in the sharing, your burden is lessened and your joy is multiplied.
We'll light a final pillar candle for all the joys and sorrows in our community, in our hearts, that may go unshared and unspoken this morning. These too are held in this love and support of our community. And now I'd like to invite the children and anyone else who would like to come forward for our story.
Our story is called Who is My Neighbor? Written by Amy Jill Levine and Sandy Eisenberg Sasso. Illustrated by Denise Turu. Once there was a town where only blues lived. There were navy and indigo, aqua and sapphire, powder blue and midnight blue. They planted irises and forget-me-nots and feasted on blueberries and blue cheese. They sailed on blue waters. Blue jays perched on branches and brilliant blue cracker butterflies shimmered. The blues thought they were the coolest colors. The yellows lived in a different town. There were gold and bronze, lemon and mustard, canary and pale yellow. They planted sunflowers and daffodils and feasted on bananas and butterscotch pudding. Yum. They traveled on yellow brick roads. Goldfinches perched on branches and busy yellow jackets buzzed. The yellows thought they were the hottest colors. The blues and the yellows did not like one another very much. Be careful of the yellows. We are better than they are. They are not our neighbors. The yellows warned their children not to go near the others. Be careful of the blues. We are better than they are. They are not our neighbors. For years, the blues said there was no such thing as a good yellow. And the yellows said there was no such thing as a good blue. One day, Midnight Blue put on his best blue helmet and got on his blue bike. He loved cruising under the bright blue sky and passing by the tranquil blue lakes, singing a bluegrass tune. Then, out of the blue, someone passed by so close to Midnight Blue that he lost his balance. Bump! Thump! Midnight Blue tumbled to the ground. His knees started to turn black and blue. Midnight Blue needed help. Along came Navy. Navy will help me, Midnight Blue thought. But Navy was afraid. She wondered, maybe someone made Midnight Blue fall, and maybe that person is still around. So Navy pretended not to notice Midnight Blue. Midnight Blue was surprised. Why hadn't Navy stopped to help? After all, Navy was his neighbor. Along came Powder Blue. Powder Blue will help me, Midnight Blue thought. But Powder Blue wondered, did Midnight Blue get in a fight? Is the other person still around? He was afraid, so he pretended not to notice Midnight Blue. Midnight Blue was surprised. Why hadn't Powder Blue stopped either? After all, Powder Blue was his neighbor. Neither Navy nor Powder Blue is a true blue, he thought. Along came Lemon. Oh no, a yellow, thought Midnight Blue. A yellow will only make things worse. Maybe this yellow will steal my books. But Midnight Blue wasn't the only one who was scared. Lemon worried about helping a blue. What if that blue wanted to trick her? What if that blue jumped up and took her bike? Maybe she should just hurry by. But Lemon didn't hurry by. She decided to help. She didn't steal his books. She picked them up. She lifted Midnight Blue from the dirt, handed him his helmet, and helped him get on the back of her bike. And then she took him to her doctor. While they waited, Lemon gave Midnight Blue a butterscotch cookie. It was broken, but still delicious. Midnight Blue said, "You're a good yellow, not like the others." "Most yellows are good," Lemon said. "So are most blues," Midnight Blue said, and he smiled. He pulled out a small bag of blueberries and gave some to Lemon. They were a little squishy, but still yummy. When Dr. Gold came out, Midnight Blue was still a bit frightened. Dr. Gold was another yellow. But Dr. Gold smiled at him. She shined a light into his eyes, checked to make sure nothing was broken, and put a bandage on each knee. "Good as gold," she said. Midnight Blue turned to Lemon and said, "Thank you for helping me. I would like to be your friend." Lemon nodded. "Of course, a good friend." When Midnight Blue returned to his town, he told all the Blues what had happened. It was not at all what they expected to hear. He said, "Lemon did not pass by. Lemon did not look the other way. Lemon helped. And Dr. Gold did too." The Blues thought, "The yellows do not look like us or eat the same foods, but maybe the yellows can be our friends." When Lemon returned to her town, she told all the yellows what had happened. It is not at all what they expected to hear. She said, "Midnight Blue wasn't mean at all. He was thankful. He shared his blueberries. So sweet. From now on, we are going to be friends." The yellows thought, "The Blues do not know our songs or grow our plants, but maybe we can help the Blues and the Blues can help us." From that time on, the Blues and the yellows began to say, "Maybe we don't have to look alike or even live nearby. Perhaps we will like hearing new songs and tasting new foods. We might like making new friends. Maybe we can all help one another." "Maybe," said Midnight Blue. Lemon smiled. "Maybe, just maybe."
As the children leave for classes, we join in singing.
Walk on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you go there is love. Walk on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you go there is love all around.
This collection of teachings comes from the Unitarian Universalist composer Jason Shelton from his Sources Cantata. In the Talmud of the Jewish tradition, the sage Hillel said, "What is hateful to you, do not do to others. This is the whole of the law. All the rest is commentary." In the Hindu legend of the Mahabharata, the divine Krishna declared, "This is the sum of duty. Do nothing unto others which would cause you pain if done to you." In the Gospel of Matthew and the Christian scriptures, the Messiah Jesus says, "Whatever you wish that others would do to you, do so to them." In the Buddhist text of the Udana Varga, the student is urged, "Hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful." In the Muslim hadith of al-Nawawi, the Prophet Muhammad teaches, "No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that what he desires for himself." In the Tai Shang treatise of Taoism, the seeker is instructed, "Regard your neighbor's gain as your gain, and your neighbor's loss as your own loss." In the ancient wisdom of Shinto, there is a saying, "The heart of the person before you is a mirror. See there your own form." The Oglala Lakota spiritual leader Black Elk wrote, "All things are our relatives. What we do to everything, we do to ourselves."
Today is the third service in a series I'm offering this year reflecting on the UU answers to theological questions. Our question this morning is, are people good or evil? I planned this service for the Sunday following the election because I knew that no matter the outcome, the election would remind us forcibly that we are a nation divided. And we may not spend a lot of time wondering about our own selves, am I good or am I evil? But I know that many of us spend quite a bit of time wondering about the nature of people who seem to care a lot less about some of the things that are very important to us. So here we are again. Here we are again, like in 2016, when so many of us were completely surprised when Trump won. At the time, we talked about being in a bubble and needing to get outside our own bubbles. Here we are again, like in 2004, when so many of us were distraught at the re-election of George W. Bush, who had led us into war based on faulty intelligence reports. I remember refusing to discuss the election with a friend who had voted differently than I had. It was the only way to preserve our friendship. Here we are again, like in 1968, when the election of Richard Nixon signaled the end of an era of activism and the turn of our country to more conservative politics. A time when progressives fantasized about leaving the country, moving to live somewhere else, somewhere better. I was with some of our elders, our church elders Friday, our congregants 80 years and older, and something about the current political moment prompted the memory of internment camps here in the US, when 120,000 people of Japanese descent, the majority of whom were citizens of the United States, were incarcerated for 4 years. Our fears run amok. Here we are again. If you are someone who is more conservative, you have your own stories of despair and bewilderment at different elections of different politicians. Everything that one side may say about the other is also said by the other about the first group. Everyone thinks their own group is truly American and filled with love for all people. Everyone thinks it's the other side that spreads hate and intolerance. In 2004, I couldn't imagine a worse president than George W. Bush. That seems almost quaint to me now, looking back. But it makes me wonder if at some future moment I will look back to this time and think that my worries now seem, I don't know, small, maybe. I don't mean to underplay the seriousness of the challenges before us. We know that social progress we have made over the last 2 decades and longer will continue to be under attack. We know that we will need to defend and protect the civil rights of just about everybody. And we know particularly that we no longer have the support of our country's leaders in making progress on climate justice. But as bad as this moment in time is, I just want us to remember that we have made it through bad times before. We have made it through a previous Trump presidency, specifically. And in the bigger picture, our country has overcome the enslavement of Africans, and we have survived civil war. We have a long history of being politically divided. So, is half the country good people and half the country bad people? As much as I find it hard to understand the beliefs and behaviors of many people I see on social media, where, by the way, every instance of terrible behavior by anyone is available for us all to watch together on video. As much as I find it hard to understand the beliefs and behaviors of many people I see on social media, I do not think that 75 million people are just bad people. Are people good or evil? Many Christian denominations believe that humans are born sinful, and that the work of our lives is to overcome our sinfulness. The rituals of baptism, confession, and communion are meant to help overcome sinfulness. There will be those among you who were raised in this belief system, and it can be very difficult to leave behind, even after you have intellectually rejected the idea that we are born sinful and need saving. Our Unitarian and Universalist heritages each wrestled with sinfulness in their own ways and came to be more interested in our human potential than in our human shortcomings. My colleague Arvid Straube spoke to you a few weeks ago about the divine within each of us and our potential to cultivate in ourselves the brain of the Buddha and the heart of Jesus. Are we good or evil? Yes, I would say. People have the potential to do great good, and we have the potential to do great harm, great evil to one another. We have the potential to do great good like Buddha, Jesus, Dorothy Day, Martin Luther King, Dolores Huerta, Rosa Parks. We have the potential to do great harm like, I don't need to say the names. I don't think that we Unitarian Universalists have a strong theological understanding of people who are doing harm in the world. We like to focus on the positive, that's a good thing, but then we wrestle sometimes with making sense of a lot of what happens. My favorite challenging theological question to ask Unitarian Universalists is if Hitler was inherently worthy. One of our UU values is equity, and in support of that value, we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. Was Hitler inherently worthy? It's a challenging question because we tend to think that inherently worthy means that someone is a good person. I don't think that's what it means. I think it means something more like we don't refer to people as garbage. We don't dehumanize people. And we don't believe people are ever deserving of torture or enslavement. There's a baseline of treatment that all humans deserve, and we will advocate for that, even for people we don't like, even for criminals, even for bad people. You heard in our reading today the teachings from 8 of the world's religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Shinto, Native American. These teachings are all some variations of what's called the Golden Rule: treat others as you would have them treat you. I think this teaching is so universal because it's really hard to live into, right? If treating each other well were easy, we wouldn't need so much instruction about it. If it were just the challenge of one faith tradition or one culture, it wouldn't be such a universal teaching. We heard in our children's story this morning the story of the Good Samaritan from the Christian New Testament. Did you recognize it? It isn't just a story of one person helping another. It's the story of someone who was thought to be bad, a Samaritan, a yellow, helping someone in need. Today we might call it the story of the good Trump supporter or the good liberal, depending on who you think is incapable of offering help to others. The loving kindness meditation in Buddhism begins with offering loving kindness to yourself, then to people you know and care about. And the practice can extend to offering loving kindness to people you find very difficult. This can be a challenging part of the meditation, but also very beneficial. Because carrying hate in our hearts is heavy. I looked up the definition of hate because it can be such a strong emotion. Like, what's going on when that happens? It's just, in terms of the dictionary definition, it's just intense dislike or disgust. As simple as that. I don't like you. I don't like this. People have the potential to do great good, and we have the potential to do great harm, great evil to one another. I have cautioned us before that it seems to me that something about Trump opened up a Pandora's box of unwanted emotions in people: hate, violence, combativeness, anger. And those unwanted emotions were opened in all of us, not just his supporters. We are in danger of living awash in hate. We are in danger of feeling violent, of making anger our primary emotion. This is not how we want to live. These are not our values. So it feels like one of the most vulnerable things I've ever confided to you from the pulpit, that I hate him. I hate him for what he's done to us, for what he's doing to us. And I don't want to feel hate. This has been a long week already. I feel a lot of, okay, this is what people want. This is what they voted for. Everybody knew what they're getting. They can't pretend to be surprised. I need a word for a combination of sad and angry. Do the Germans have a word like that? I feel like I want to focus my energy here in California and making our state as strong and wonderful as it can be. Let's figure out how to help homeless folks. Let's improve our public schools. Let's protect our coastline. Let's fix the sewage problem in Tijuana. Let's protect the immigrants here. I want to read a lot less news. I'm focusing on getting my news from nonprofit news organizations now. And I want to keep working on loving my neighbor, of treating others the way I want to be treated. People have the potential to do great good, and we have the potential to do great harm. I want to cultivate the goodness in myself, and I want to honor the potential for goodness in all of us. This is how I feel today. I'm sure my feelings will continue to evolve, but I might be feeling sad and angry for some time. I feel like we spent the years 2016 through 2020 talking about Trump, and I sense that we absolutely don't want to do that again. And we might actually prefer to never speak of him again. We'll see how that unfolds in the coming months. But most of all this past week, I felt grateful to have a community of people with shared values. We don't all have the same political opinions, but we do share a vision and hope for a better world. And whatever the challenges, we will continue to work for that better world together. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
Our hymn of the month for November is number 315 in the Gray Hymnal, This Old World. We are singing this hymn every Sunday this month to help us get to know the hymn and feel more comfortable singing it. So please rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregation life possible. LeVar Burton, from Star Trek and Reading Rainbow fame, writes, "In a society that functions optimally, those who can should naturally want to provide for those who can't. That's how it's designed to work. I truly believe we're here to take care of one another." We encourage you to text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to enter your card information. If your Sunday donation is meant to be a part of your pledge, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. The phone number for text donations will be on screen in a moment. If you prefer to make an in-person donation of cash or check, there are envelopes and a donation box to the left of the chapel double doors. You can leave those donations after the service. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. A Chalice UU congregation, our mission is to inspire individual and communal spiritual growth.
Hello. Good morning still, I can still see the clock. Wanted to give a little background about this song I'm about to do. This song was written by Jackson Browne, one of my real favorite singer-songwriters. Since I grew up in LA in the 70s, you can imagine this is what I heard a lot. And this song, not a lot of people know, Reverend Sharon mentioned in her sermon about the Nixon election in the early 70s. I hate that I'm old enough to have perspective. That's a terrible term. And the first election of Richard Nixon was really devastating, but his re-election is really the first time that a lot of children of the 60s got a chance to vote. And that election, that contest against George McGovern was the largest margin of victory for, Nixon won by the largest number of votes in the popular vote in the history of presidential elections. 18 million more people voted for Richard Nixon than George McGovern. And it was and like I said, it was the first time some of the young people had participated in an election, and it was just devastating. A lot of people saw it as, the stake in the heart, as Reverend Sharon mentioned, to the ideals of the 60s. And so at this time, Jackson Browne is living with David Crosby from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young on David Crosby's sailboat up in Los Angeles. They're like sharing living quarters on this sailboat. And of course, they're talking about this. They're all, they're all kind of devastated. And David Crosby writes a song about this. They're talking every night, and they're talking about, maybe we should just leave. Maybe we should go away. Maybe we should take this sailboat and go find another place to live. You may have been in some of these conversations lately. I know I have been, so they talked about it, and like I said, David Crosby wrote a song. The song's called "Wooden Ships," and wooden ships on the water, free and easy, the way it's supposed to be, and a really beautiful song. But Jackson Browne's driving through Los Angeles back to the sailboat, and he becomes acutely aware of everybody in the city. Everybody on the street, everybody in their houses, everybody in their businesses, and all the millions of people on the freeway. And he becomes acutely aware that not everybody can get in a ship and sail away. For better or worse, we're in this all together. And that's what this song really means to me. This song's actually a rebuttal to the song Wooden Ships. And it talks about being left on the sand at the end of the song, so listen for that. This song's called "For Every Man." Well, everybody I talk to is ready to leave with the light of the morning. They've seen the end coming down long enough to believe they've heard their last warning. Standing alone, each has his own ticket in his hand. And as the evening descends, I sit thinking about every man. Seems like I've always been looking for some other place to get it together. And with a few of my friends, I would give up this race, maybe find something better. But all my fine schemes and well thought out dreams to gain the motherland have all eventually come down to waiting for every man. Waiting here for every man. Make it on your own if you think you can. But if you see somewhere to go, I understand. I'm waiting here for every man. Don't you ask me if he'll show, 'cause baby, I don't know. Make it on your own if you think you can, but somewhere later on you'll have to take a stand, and then you're gonna need a hand. Everybody's just waiting to hear from the one who can give them the answers and lead us back to that place in the warmth of the sun where sweet childhood still dances. Who'll come along and hold out that strong but gentle parent's hand. Long ago I heard someone say something about every man. I'm waiting here for every man. Make it on your own if you think you can. And if you see somewhere to go, well, I understand. I'm not trying to tell you that I've seen the plan. Turn and walk away if you think I am. But don't think too badly of one who's left holding sand. He's just another dreamer, dreaming about every man.
The words of our prayer come from the Reverend Dan Schatz, written for today. Will you join me? Sacred love, be with us. Fill our hearts with your balm, driving out hate. Be with us when we are angry, loving still. Be with us when we are afraid, holding us in your arms. Be with us when we are hopeful, helping us find joy in this yet beautiful world. Sacred love, be with those who have stoked the fires of intolerance, who would turn us from one another. Fill their hearts and open their minds. Sacred love, abide with us and be with us through all the days ahead, through the work, the struggles, the everyday and the extraordinary moments. Give us courage and bring heart to every step and every soul. Amen, and blessed be.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing together hymn number 1002, Comfort Me, found in the Teal hymnal.
Comfort me,
Please be seated.
Our closing words were written by Pema Chodron in her book, Comfortable with Uncertainty. Bodhicitta is a Sanskrit word that means noble or awakened heart. Just as butter is inherent in milk and oil is inherent in a sesame seed, the soft spot of bodhicitta is inherent in you and me. It is equated in part with our ability to love. No matter how committed we are to unkindness, selfishness, or greed, the genuine heart of bodhicitta cannot be lost. It is here in all that lives, never marred and completely whole. Love and blessings to each of you. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well. After our closing hymn, please return to your seats for a few announcements. Our closing.
Coffee team is looking for new people to join and help make coffee on Sunday morning happen. Some folks on coffee team come early to set up, some stay late to help clean up, and some folks do both. So if you would like to be part of helping make our Sunday morning warm and welcoming, please let me know, or you can email me or Peter Armstrong, the very handsome lead of the coffee team. Also my husband, if you don't know.
Good morning, Chalice. One of our fall, I don't want to call it traditions, but one of our fall activities each year is to have an evacuation drill. I know, it's not that much fun, but it's something we need to do every now and then. So we've chosen next Sunday to do it, so it's not today, it's next Sunday. And at that time, at the conclusion of the service, I will be calling for the drill. And then about the back half of the chapel should exit out the back door, and the front half should exit out this door. And we will go around and meet at the corner outside the fence at Hamilton and Miller. So that's on the program for next week. Thank you.
All right, putting my President of the Board of Trustees hat on. I just want to remind you that there is a listening session after service today at 11:45 in the Rainbow Room. And this session is specifically to hear about our congregants' thoughts and feelings in the wake of the board vote on our flags. Held in October, we voted to not approve flying any of the three flags that we had been flying, and we're interested in how this impacts you. So that's today, 11:45 in the Rainbow Room. All right. All right. Oh, no, I have another announcement. So now I'm speaking as a member of the Spirit Booster team, and it's November, and you know what that means? It means it's only one more month until our winter party. Woo-woo! So our winter party is Saturday, December 7th. We will have a potluck starting at 5 p.m. and we'll have entertainment starting at 6. It's going to be super fun. The choir is going to sing. Unity Groove is going to sing. We're going to have other entertainment. And if you're thinking like, oh, it's hard to think about joyful things right now, just consider that seeking out joy and fun is, as Reverend Sharon has said in the past, an act of resistance. So let's actively resist.